Hello everybody and welcome to the Alien vs Predator Galaxy YouTube channel. This is Aaron Percival, aka Corporal Hicks, and in this video we're going to be having a little bit of a look / review of the recently released Aliens the Artbook. So this comes after Titan did 40 years, 40 artists, a book that was in celebration of Alien's 40th anniversary, and it was delayed, but I think it came out in 2020. This thing, 40 artists all in celebration of Aliens' 40th anniversary. It was a nicely presented book. I really enjoyed this. Some fantastic pieces in here, but also criticism wise, a bit too much reference of that AVP promo picture. I'm sick of seeing that in things not related to AVP. So that was actually something I went into the new book to look out for. And this is Aliens Artbook. Just simple title. This one was done in collaboration with Titan on the bottom and printed in blood. Printed by blood on the top. Printed in blood. So they've previously done some posters and art prints related to Alien, as well as a couple of other art books such as Halloween, Firefly, Ghostbusters as well. And so the two teamed up to do this one in celebration of Aliens' 35th anniversary. It was announced at the end of 2020, sorry. Announced at the end of 2020. Cover reveal on Alien Day for 2021, and then it finally came out at the end of the year. Amazon has it up as going up about November. I don't really remember seeing it until December, and I finally picked it up in January of the year. It's a lot thicker than 40 years, 40 artists. There's a lot more pieces in here than 40. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look through this book. I've picked out a number of pieces that I'm particularly fond of, and I'm just going to highlight those ones and talk about some of those. And the the one that was the one AVP reference, I'm going to highlight it and shame it because I hate seeing that so much. But we'll get over to that shortly and have a look at some of these pieces inside that I'm quite fond of. First up, we have this fantastic cover art by Devin Francisco. Really love this piece, with the aliens on the top and then Ripley and the Sulaco and LV-426 on the bottom with the dropship popping down. I think this was a fantastic piece for them to choose for the cover. It really shows off some of the quality of the stuff that's inside this. So the first piece we're going for is page 10. Let's look at Dave O'Flanagan's piece. So you can see here that there is some notations, and on this side here and a little bit up top here. That's not on every piece. I am a little disappointed by that, because that was one of the things I really liked in 40 years, 40 artists, because it did get into the mindset and the opinions of the artists. Now, understandably, there is so many pieces in this book that they can't really fit that in for everybody, but it is a little bit of a disappointment for me. Now, O'Flanagan's piece I love because of just, technically speaking, it's so photorealistic. It looks fantastic, but it's also one of those pieces that I really like that demonstrates the other aspects of the franchise. You know, this is Ripley before the uprise, Ripley before she regains her purpose and her confidence, and we've got this fantastically rendered depiction of Sigourney's likeness, and things like Jonesy in the back there, and the Reebok shoes there. I think it's just a wonderful piece. Next up we have Anthony Galatis here. There's no information on what he was doing here, but this is a stylistic one that I quite like. overly stylistic. I don't mean like crazy, crazy out there kind of style, but just a bit of a different approach to it that I really enjoy, was this bird's eye view of Ripley, ostensibly when she's at peace, or when she's defeated the alien the first time around. But it depicts in some ways the start of Aliens, which is not over yet. The alien is still looming over her to restart the mission, restart the story, restart the nightmare. That's why I really like this one. And speaking of nightmares, I love this one. This one's Bruno Vergauen. Absolutely fantastic piece. The obvious, it's obviously depicting Ripley's nightmare from the start of Aliens. But, detail-wise, at the back we have the hospital door, Jonesy having his little mare, and the chestburster coming out. Fantastic. You see it here. I wasn't going to highlight this one, but Marachek John Jay as well. The book's segmented into really depictions of the alien's lifestyle in a lot of ways. The first two that we saw were more about Ripley, and then we start to depict the life cycle as it goes through in the book, and then there's random bits at the end. Now this one's just to show possibly a downside of the book, because this piece by Roger Motzkin we've seen before. So there's a lot of pieces in this book, but they're also by known fan artists that you've probably seen their pieces online as well. So it wasn't all entirely new art to me, but I didn't knock it down really. It's just an FYI, I guess. And here we have a depiction of the facehugger attack in MedLab. This one's by Mark Boygan. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, but I love this one. The contrast between the red and the black in this piece really make it stand out. So this one is to highlight that the book wasn't entirely free of what's become a very noticeable problem in fandom, and that's overly referenced material. More notably in the Marvel comics at the minute, but we saw it with 40 Years and 40 Artists with that, as I said, that EVP promo picture being overly referenced. And here we have a piece that is very noticeably a production and promo still from Aliens. So, not a comment on the quality of the rendition, but the fact that it is in here, just not overly as present as some of the other pieces that we've seen. So we have a two-for spread here actually. Really fond of this piece on the right by Stephen Sampson. I think it's actually I had it briefly as an avatar on the forum. But no, I wanted to highlight this piece on the left by Luke Parker, because it really reminded me of Mike Mignola, who is very famous for Hellboy and stuff like that, but also worked on Alien Salvation. And I kind of am always drawn to those pieces that remind me of comic artists and stuff like that, because this book doesn't actually have many names that immediately jump out at me. There was only really Dave Dorman that I recognised as having already been involved with the series, so I'm always inevitably drawn to the ones that draw a comparison to those other artists in my head. And speaking of Dave Dorman, here's his piece in the book, a depiction of Newt and the facehugger. Lovely piece, very much in Dorman's style. No arguments here, and I'm glad to see that we did get some people that were already known for being involved with the franchise. And Dorman's actually done a poster with Printed in Blood before as well, so he has this existing relationship with those guys. So it was nice to see him included in the book. And here we have another piece that reminded me of an existing artist, a piece that reminds me of Denis Bouvet's style from Nightmare Asylum. I don't know if it's just the blues, because it doesn't look overly watercoloured to me, but I really enjoy this piece. It's by Salvador Gaeta. Really, really fantastic piece. And here we have another one where I'm just sort of picking on things. This is Neon Gore's piece, and it wasn't immediately obvious to me. It did have to be pointed out, but this is referenced by that evil AVP piece that I was talking about. Now, detailing wise, it's gone aliens. You know, we've got the ridged heads and the shoulder tubing and stuff like that, but it's more the pose that came from that AVP promo piece. So it's not massively noticeable to me, so much so that I will forgive it because all the detailing's more obviously aliens. It's not quite as disrespectful as a blatant trace of an AVP alien in a book that's supposed to celebrate Alien, but it is there. So when I found out Declan was in this book, there was no chance I wasn't going to highlight this in the video. If you don't frequent the channel or anything, Declan Loftus is the artist that I always go to when I want original pieces for the videos. You know, when I'm doing videos on unfilmed scenes and stuff like that, I always go to him to depict those. So when I found out that my old mate Declan was in this book, I was like, yes. So this is his piece. I was not gonna not highlight this. Shame we didn't get a paragraph of his mentality there, but it is what it is. So here we have a piece by Malone Draws, and this is not a crazy style one, but it's one of the... I seem to be really drawn to the ones in this book with the high contrasts of the blacks and other colours. In this one we've got the black and the yellows, with an artist's freedom interpretation of the size and the scale of the Queen, but it depicts, that conflict and the power of the Queen looming over those guys, over Ripley and Newt. So yeah, I really was drawn to this one. And one final one to show off is Angel Transcoin. Sorry, I probably butchered that name there. So this is one of the sections towards the back where it's just sort of anything goes kind of thing, and here we have the Jordans entering the cargo hold of the derelict and encountering the eggs for the first time. Again, fantastic rendition and a highlight of some of the variety of the scenery and depictions that you're going to see in this book. So those are all the ones that I picked on to show everybody. There is a huge variety in here. Not all of them I liked, I'm going to be honest, but there was none that quite, I guess, offended me as a fan. Just some styles that weren't quite up my street. But there's a lot in here. There was 200 and something pages worth of stuff. 200 pages worth of artwork in here. And that's not a page per art piece either. There's multiple art on single pages. I really recommend this, I really do. I think there's something in here for everybody, and a variety of styles on show. Nothing overly referenced that stuck out to me and bothered me as a fan. So yeah, really, really enjoyed this one. Really do recommend picking it up, especially if you're into seeing different renditions and different takes on particular themes or scenes from the series. Really impressed with what Titan and Printed in Blood did with this one. Anyway, this has been Corporal Hicks, and thank you for watching.